Hello, and welcome to a very basic guitar introduction slash tutorial on how to play the first chord you will ever use if you're getting into guitar. So we're going to be learning how to play the G chord, but these are the 8 steps that you have to know in order to get there. So our first step is you have to get a guitar. So what you're going to want to do is find your local music shop, guitar center. There will be a guitar center in most places of the world near you somewhere, and find a guitar that works for you. This is just an acoustic. There's electrics too, but I highly recommend learning on an acoustic guitar because the action, the distance the strings are from the fretboard, the neck, is higher, and it'll train your fingers better to play chords, all that fun stuff. So yeah, just find a guitar that is the right size, everything for you. I'm a little lankier, so I like a guitar with a longer neck, and I like kind of a thicker neck just because my hands are really big. But if you have small hands, maybe try to find a smaller guitar, that type of thing. Let's see. Our next step is we want to make sure that our guitar is in tune. So this guitar is not tuned to standard, it's tuned to baritone. But for the sake of this video, let's just act like it's tuned in standard. So when a guitar is tuned in standard or a variation of standard, you can check the tuning by the 5th fret of the E string, which is this top string, is going to be the same as the 2nd string, and then you go down to the A string of the 5th fret, and it's going to be the same as the D string, then D string. So each consecutive string is going to be the same as the one under it. And then on the G string, which is the 4th string, on the 4th fret, you're going to hit that and it'll be the same as the B string. And then you're going to go back to the 5th fret on the B string and it'll be the same as your E string. So if your guitar sounds like that, that means it's in tune. So then our next thing that we want to do is we want to talk about the shape. So the shape of chords is always fun, but for this particular chord, the G chord, it's got kind of a weird shape. It kind of looks like I'm flipping you off right now. I promise I'm not. This is just kind of what it looks like this. But I remember whenever I was first learning how to play guitar, the shape was like the hardest part. It felt really unnatural and just weird. So I thought that it would be best to dissect that first before actually playing the chord, because there's a lot of things you need to know before you do this. So our shape is going to look like that, and we want to round our fingers. This looks so weird, but this is just the way it is. Round our fingers to this, and so that's going to prepare us for when we actually start pressing down on the strings. So before we press down on the strings, let's just do this real quick. So a guitar, like I said, this is in baritone, so if your guitar is in standard, it's not going to sound like this, but it's the same. It'll be, like I said, we're acting like this guitar is in standard. So from the top string to the bottom string, technically whenever you're reading tabs, this is your 1st string. So let's just read it like that, because tabs or written music for guitar will help you with that. So it goes E, high E, B, G, D, A, low E. Okay? So on our low E on the 3rd fret, we want to make sure, also, we want to use our fingertips. And it's going to hurt if you don't play guitar because the strings are metal. And I've been playing guitar for about 10 years, so hopefully I've gotten some calluses by then. So I don't feel anything anymore. Just feels good, but yeah, so you're gonna want to round your finger like that and use the tip of your finger and use that on the low E on the 3rd fret. And then you're going to use your first finger on the A string, which is the 2nd string of the 2nd fret. And then you're going to skip a lot of strings and go to the 3rd. You're going to use your 3rd finger on the 5th string, the B string, or 2nd string technically, but let's just say 5th if we're going that way from the top down. B string on the 3rd fret, and then on the high E we're going to use our pinky, this little guy, and put them on right there on the 3rd fret. So what I want to talk about now is strumming versus picking, right? So I could finger pick this chord just like this, which is I'm using my thumb and my first 2 fingers to go like this. Thumb hits the root string, and then while I'm hitting the root string, I'm simultaneously using my first 2 fingers to hit the B and E string, the high E and the B string, so the last 2. So first string up here and then the last 2. So that's just the G chord, right? So I could do that. So I could just finger pick the whole time. I could do that the whole time. Or I could use what we call in the guitar world a pick, or if you're in England, you call it a plectrum, which I think is a lot more fun, but unfortunately we are American, so let's just say pick. And there's a lot of different types of picks. I personally love really thick picks because I tend to strum really hard, and I can't even tell you how many picks I've broken. If there was a pick graveyard for me personally, it would be so full. We would be over capacity. I just break picks all the time. So I finally found a brand that is like construction grade picks. And so it's all about preference though. If you like thinner picks, if you like a thinner sound, use that. But if you don't, like me, use a heavier pick. And so in order to pick, you take your thumb and your first finger, hold it like that. And then for the G chord, you're going to strum all the way down, just like so. And then you can use a strumming pattern, which you could go, one of the most basic strumming patterns there is down, down, up, up, down. That's the first one I learned. So really slowly, that's a little faster. Just the whole time. But yeah, so if you follow those steps, that was give or take 8 steps. I'm sorry, I didn't really count. You will be playing a G chord in no time. So yeah.